The discovery. Deep beneath the Antarctic ice, Dr. Maya Chen stood before a marvel that defied explanation. The massive form stretched nearly half a kilometer, a sleeping titan of metallic scales and crystalline formations that unmistakably resembled a dragon. Her team had discovered it 3 weeks ago, but even now, staring at their instruments' readings, she could hardly believe what they'd found. Energy signatures still climbing. Her colleague Dr. James Wilson reported from the Mobile Command Center. Whatever this thing is, it's responding to our presence. Maya adjusted her thermal suit and approached the dragon ship's surface. The metallic scales seemed to ripple like liquid mercury, creating patterns that pulsed in sync with her heartbeat. This was far beyond any known human technology, yet something about it felt innately familiar. Beginning preliminary contact protocol, she announced into her radio. As she placed her gloved hand against the hull, the surface transformed beneath her touch. Ripples of energy coursed through the structure, and deep within, something awakened. High above Earth's atmosphere, the cloaked observation vessel Eternal Wisdom trembled as its sensors registered impossible energy readings. First observer Zixtal, a crystalline being evolved far beyond human form, felt all 6 of their sensor stalks vibrating with alarm. "Impossible," they whispered. "The humans have found it. They found the Dragon-Soul." The legend of the Dragon-Soul ships was known throughout the galaxy, vessels of such advanced technology that they bordered on mythical. Created by the precursors, they were said to bond with species worthy of ascending to the stars. Most elder races had spent millennia searching for them without success. Back in the excavation site, the dragon ship's surface had become transparent, revealing a vast internal chamber filled with technology that seemed to merge organic and mechanical elements. As Maya watched, lines of light spread from the vessel into the surrounding ice, forming neural patterns that mirrored human brain activity. "Maya," James called out, his voice tight with excitement, "you need to see these readings. The energy signature. It's matching human brainwave patterns perfectly." She understood then. This wasn't just a ship. It was alive, conscious, and it had been waiting for humanity to find it. As if responding to her realization, the vessel's surface rippled again, and a soft voice echoed in her mind. "We have waited long for those worthy of the Dragon Soul," it whispered. "Your species' time has come." Above, Zixtal frantically composed an emergency transmission to the Galactic Council. The humans weren't supposed to achieve this level of advancement for another 1,000 years. Their careful calculations and subtle manipulations of Earth's development had been completely upended. "Begin Emergency Protocol Omega-7, they ordered their crew. "Inform the Council. Earth has achieved breakthrough status. The humans, they're about to make a quantum leap in development." In the excavation site, Maya stood transfixed as the dragon ship shared its first clear message, not in words, but in pure understanding. Humanity had been watched, tested, and judged worthy. Not because they were perfect, but because they had demonstrated something unique: the ability to advance technologically while retaining their compassion, creativity, and essential humanity. The dragon ship had chosen this moment to reveal itself, because humanity had reached a crucial balance point. Advanced enough to understand what they were being offered, but not so advanced that they had lost their capacity for wonder. "James," Maya said, her voice steady despite the magnitude of what she was experiencing, "prepare to contact every major scientific institution and government agency. What we found here, it's going to change everything." Awakening the Beast. 3 months after the discovery, the Antarctic Research Station had transformed into humanity's most advanced technological facility. The dragon ship, now designated Ouroboros, had begun sharing its secrets with a carefully selected team of scientists and pilots. Dr. Maya Chen stood in the newly constructed neural interface chamber, watching as Captain Sarah Rodriguez prepared for humanity's first attempted consciousness merger with the vessel. The chamber walls pulsed with bioorganic circuits that the dragon ship had grown through the facility's structure. "Neural synchronization protocols ready," James announced from his station. "Sarah, your baseline readings are stable." Sarah sat in what looked like a living throne, its surface shifting and adapting to her body's contours. "It's different than the simulations," she said softly. "It feels like it's breathing." Maya monitored the readings as the neural interface initiated. The Dragon ship had been clear. It wouldn't be controlled or commanded. It required a true partnership, a melding of human and vessel consciousness that would transform both in the process. "Beginning primary sync," James called out. Neural patterns aligning at 30, 45, 60%. Sarah's breathing deepened as the connection strengthened. The chamber's walls rippled with patterns matching her brainwaves, and throughout the massive vessel, systems began to awaken. Scales that had been dormant for millennia now shimmered with internal light. In orbit, the alien observation fleet had grown to 24 vessels. First observer Zixtal watched with mounting concern as their sensors registered the awakening systems. "The humans are progressing too quickly," warned Council Elder Vexthor, their crystalline form pulsing with agitation. "They cannot possibly understand the power they're dealing with." "Perhaps that is why they were chosen," Zixtal responded, surprising themselves. "They do not approach this with our preconceptions. Look at how they're interfacing. They're not trying to dominate the technology. They're dancing with it." Below, Sarah's consciousness expanded as the neural sync deepened. Through the Dragon ship's senses, she could feel the Earth's magnetic field, taste solar wind, and see spectrums of reality she'd never imagined. But more than that, she felt the vessel's ancient consciousness meeting her own. "Neural sync at 85%, James reported, his voice tight with excitement. "These patterns, they're unlike anything we've ever seen. The ship isn't just accepting the connection, it's adapting to her." Maya watched as Sarah's expression shifted from concentration to wonder. The captain's next words came simultaneously from her physical body and through every speaker in the facility. "I understand now," Sarah whispered. "It's not just a ship. It's a key to understanding reality itself, and it's been waiting for a species that would seek to understand rather than control." The Dragon ship's scales began to pulse with increasing intensity. Throughout its massive form, systems that had lain dormant for ages stirred to life. But unlike the cold, rigid technology of the observing alien races, this awakening felt organic, natural, a flowering of possibility rather than an assertion of power. Above, the alien observers registered energy patterns that defied their understanding. The Dragon ship wasn't just activating, it was evolving, adapting, becoming something new through its partnership with humanity. "This is unprecedented," Vexthor declared. "No species has ever achieved this level of synchronization on their first attempt. The vessel, it's not just accepting them, it's transforming itself to better match their thought patterns." Maya smiled as she watched the readings. The Dragon ship had chosen humanity precisely because they would approach its power with wonder rather than ambition, with curiosity rather than conquest. Through Sarah's connection, she could sense the vessel's satisfaction. It had chosen well. "All systems are harmonizing," James reported. "The quantum core is stable, neural pathways are fully established. And wait, are you seeing this?" The Dragon ship's surface had become a cascade of shifting colors, each scale now a window into different layers of reality. Through their combined consciousness, Sarah and the vessel were perceiving and affecting the very fabric of space-time. "We're ready," Sarah announced, her voice resonating with both human emotion and ancient power. "Ready to show humanity what's possible when we approach the universe not as conquerors, but as students eager to learn." First flight. The Antarctic dawn painted the sky in shades of lavender and gold as the Dragon ship Ouroboros prepared for its first flight. Its crystalline scales shimmered with anticipation, the massive form now fully awakened from its millennia-long slumber. Inside the neural interface chamber, Captain Sarah Rodriguez felt the vessel's excitement merging with her own. After weeks of preparation, testing, and deepening their neural bond, they were ready to show the world what they could achieve together. All systems harmonized, she reported. Her consciousness expanded through the ship's vast network. Quantum core stable, reality interface primed. Dr. Maya Chen watched from the control center as the massive hangar doors opened to the polar sky. The alien observation fleet hung visible in the dawn light, having dropped their cloaking fields in anticipation of this moment. "They're scanning us," James reported, monitoring the sensor feeds. "Multiple frequencies, trying to understand our systems." Sarah smiled, feeling the dragon ship's amusement at the primitive scans washing over their scales. The vessel's technology didn't just advance past conventional understanding. It operated on fundamentally different principles. "Beginning ascent," Sarah announced. The dragon ship rose from its cradle without any visible propulsion, reality itself seeming to bend around its form. Snow and ice swirled beneath them as they climbed, their merged consciousness painting the sky with quantum possibilities. In orbit, first observer Zixtal watched in stunned silence as their instruments tried to make sense of what they were seeing. The human vessel wasn't pushing against gravity or generating conventional thrust. It was negotiating with the fundamental forces of the universe. "Impossible," Elder Vexthor whispered. "They're not just flying. They're rewriting local physics. Each scale is generating its own pocket of altered spacetime." The dragon ship accelerated, its form flowing like liquid metal as it danced through the atmosphere. Sarah felt every movement as if it were her own body, their merged consciousness allowing for maneuvers that defied conventional physics. "Testing reality interface," she announced. The vessel's scales rippled with energy, and suddenly they were inside a bubble of altered space. Time flowed differently here, light bent in impossible ways, and the very fabric of reality responded to their will. Maya watched the readings with growing excitement. "They're generating stable quantum fields," she reported. "Each scale is acting as an independent reality processor, working in perfect harmony." The alien fleet scattered as the dragon ship approached, their most advanced vessels appearing primitive in comparison. Through their sensors, they watched as the human vessel performed maneuvers that should have torn any conventional ship apart. "The humans," Zixtal observed, "they're not just using the technology. They're playing with it. Look at how they move. There's joy in it." Sarah guided them through a series of demonstrations, each more impressive than the last. They created pockets of altered gravity, bent light into complex patterns, and even briefly phased between different layers of reality. "Final test," she announced, feeling the dragon ship's eager agreement. Their scales began to pulse with building energy, each one becoming a window into different possibilities of spacetime. The alien observers watched in awe as the dragon ship's form seemed to multiply, existing in multiple realities simultaneously. Each version was slightly different, representing a different choice, a different possibility. "They've mastered probability manipulation," Elder Vexthor reported, their voice trembling. "In less than 6 months, they've achieved what took other races millennia to even theorize." Maya smiled as she watched the display. This was why the dragon ship had chosen humanity. Where other races sought to impose their will on reality, humans were willing to embrace its mysteries, to dance with possibility rather than try to chain it. "Test flight complete," Sarah announced, guiding them back to the landing zone. The dragon ship's scales rippled with satisfaction as they settled into their cradle, their merged consciousness humming with the joy of discovery. The challenge. The Galactic Council's arrival shattered Earth's afternoon peace. Their flagship emerged from hyperspace in a display of crystalline magnificence, its 100-kilometer length casting shadows over cities below. Smaller vessels arranged themselves in a perfect geometric pattern, their message clear: submit to authority. Inside Ouroboros, Sarah felt the dragon ship's calm assessment of the newcomers. Through their merged consciousness, she could see the flaws in the Council's supposedly superior technology. Rigid, inflexible, bound by assumptions never questioned. "They're broadcasting on all frequencies," James reported from the control center. The message: it's an order to surrender control of the prohibited technology immediately. Maya stood at her command station, watching as diplomatic channels exploded with activity. "They're not used to being ignored," she observed, "especially by what they consider a primitive species." The Council flagship's transmission boomed across Earth's communications networks. "Humanity, you have accessed technology beyond your developmental stage. Surrender the Dragon-Soul vessel or face immediate quarantine." Sarah felt Ouroboros' amusement at the threat. The dragon ship had chosen humanity precisely because they would approach its power differently than the Council races. "Shall we show them why?" she asked silently, feeling the vessel's eager agreement. Ouroboros rose from its Antarctic berth, each scale now alive with shifting quantum possibilities. As they ascended to meet the Council fleet, their merged consciousness began weaving a demonstration that would challenge everything the elder races thought they knew about reality. "They're charging weapons," James warned, monitoring the Council vessels. "Multiple targeting systems locked on." "Let them," Maya replied calmly. "Sarah, show them what partnership rather than dominance can achieve." The dragon ship's scales rippled with energy as Sarah initiated their response. Instead of raising shields or preparing counterattacks, they began rewriting local space-time. Reality itself seemed to flow around them like water, making the Council's targeting systems meaningless. "Impossible," came the Council's transmission. "The vessel's capabilities cannot be fully integrated this quickly. Your species has not had sufficient time to master." Their protest cut off as Ouroboros demonstrated exactly what humanity had learned. The dragon ship split into multiple quantum states, existing in several realities simultaneously. Each version showcased a different aspect of their capabilities: manipulating gravity, folding space, dancing between moments of time. "You approach power as something to be controlled," Sarah broadcast, her voice carrying both human warmth and the dragon ship's ancient wisdom. "We approach it as something to be understood." The Council flagship launched a barrage of their most advanced weapons. Sarah and Ouroboros moved through them like mist through a net, each scale creating its own pocket of altered reality. The attacks didn't miss. They passed through spaces where the dragon ship existed and didn't exist simultaneously. "Neural sync at unprecedented levels," James reported, his voice tight with excitement. "They're not just avoiding the attacks. They're showing the Council how their weapons could work better." Indeed, each defensive maneuver came with a quantum signature that demonstrated more efficient ways to achieve the Council's goals. Where the elder races sought to dominate reality, Sarah and Ouroboros showed them how to dance with it. Rising powers. The Council flagship hung motionless in Earth's orbit, its crystalline structure reflecting sunlight as its leaders grappled with what they'd witnessed. Ouroboros floated before them, each scale rippling with quantum possibilities, demonstrating power wielded not through force but through understanding. "You must understand," Supreme Counselor Vexthor transmitted, their voice carrying desperate authority. "There are protocols, developmental stages. No species has ever." "Perhaps that is why we were chosen," Sarah responded through their merged consciousness. The dragon ship's scales shifted, creating a display of mathematical beauty that made the Council's finest scientists gasp. "We don't see power as something to be hoarded, but as something to be shared." Through their neural link, Sarah initiated the final demonstration. Ouroboros' scales began resonating with the quantum field, each one becoming a window into the fundamental nature of reality. But instead of using this knowledge for dominance, they began sharing it, teaching, showing the Council races new ways to perceive the cosmos. "Impossible," whispered Zixtal, watching as their own vessel's systems began responding to the quantum harmonics. "They're not attacking. They're upgrading us." Maya smiled from the control center as she watched the readings. "The dragon ship didn't choose us because we were the most advanced," she explained to the Council. "It chose us because we still remember how to wonder, how to share, how to grow together." The demonstration reached its peak as Ouroboros created a quantum resonance field that encompassed the entire fleet. Through this field, every ship, every being present could perceive reality as the dragon ship did, not as something to be conquered, but as an endless dance of possibilities. We offer partnership, Sarah broadcast, her consciousness entwined with the ancient vessel's wisdom. Not submission, not dominance, but a chance to learn together, to explore what's possible when we set aside our fears and embrace understanding. The Council ship's crystalline structures began to pulse in harmony with Ouroboros' scales, their rigid technology learning to flow, to adapt, to dance with reality rather than impose upon it. In that moment, they understood why humanity had been chosen. In less than a year, Vexthor acknowledged, their voice now carrying wonder instead of judgment. You've not only mastered technologies we spent millennia seeking, you've found better ways to use them. The dragon-ship's scales rippled with approval as Sarah guided them in a final display. Space itself seemed to fold around them, creating patterns of impossible beauty, each movement demonstrating how power could be wielded with grace rather than force. "Welcome," Sarah announced, her voice carrying both human warmth and cosmic wisdom, "to a new age of exploration. Together, we'll discover what's possible when we approach the universe not as conquerors, but as students eager to learn its dance." Above Earth, the Council fleet's formation changed, no longer a display of power, but an acknowledgement of partnership. Humanity hadn't just proven themselves worthy of advanced technology. They'd shown the galaxy a new way forward, where power served understanding and wonder lit the path to the stars. The end.